маркет на территории, у которой нет границ.
A compelling detective story, a cloak and dagger action, and a romantic drama. All these stories were taken from real life. The history of Kazakhstan is inseparable from the world history. Reflections on history, our version.
A bright image. The wife of the Khan was tall. A beshmet with velvet outer and a fur edging clung to her strong body. A huge kimeshek, a married woman's hairdress made of white silk, emphasized her height. The Khan's wife was about 40 years old. There were no wrinkles on her round face, with prominent cheekbones. Her wide-set black eyes glowed vividly and looked younger under her thin black eyebrows. The Khan of Junior Juz Abulkair had 4 wives. He inherited the first from his deceased elder brother. The Khan married his 3rd wife, who was Jungar, for political reasons. He married his last wife, who was Bashkir, for the same reasons. However, the only woman he loved was Bopai's beauty. Bopai was a memorable person. Her name sticks in your mind and her image associates with a mighty woman and a strong, uncompromising ruler. This woman had a very strong, power-loving character. She showed great diplomacy and people obeyed her, which was her distinctive trait. Chapter 1. A Love Story. Abulkair Khan was not only strong-willed, but also handsome. According to his contemporaries, he was a fine figure of a man. His wife, Bopai, was extremely beautiful too. She was a strong-willed and intelligent woman also. She is called Abulkair Khan's co-ruler, the first female politician in the Kazakh Khanate. According to some data, she was the daughter of a rich and influential Kazakh sultan. Other informational sources say that she was also not born in a noble family. They were quite well-to-do. According to Kazakh legends, this woman had a beautiful appearance and a brilliant mind. When Abulkair Sultan was unknown and poor, he saw Bopai for the first time while staying in a rich elder's village. He immediately fell in love with her. He concealed that he was an aristocrat and started working as a shepherd for the beauty's father. He was tall, stately, bald, and had a proud bearing. It was impossible not to fall in love with him, and Bopai accepted the young man's love. The young Bopai's smile was charming, and her voice was gentle and authoritative. Her movements were easy, and she rode her horse easily and naturally. When his beloved one was expecting a child, Abulkair dared to ask her parents to let them marry. The girl's father did not want to consent. Although he was a descendant of Genghis Khan, a poor shepherd was no match for his daughter. The girl's father demanded an unreasonable kalim, which included 40 stallions with white legs and 40 black stallions. Jibek Bagator helped Abulkair. The wedding took place and soon Abulkair became the Khan. Some people say that he got to the throne because of his wife. Chapter 2. Always Together. Bopai was held in considerable respect. She had influence over governing the horde. She had a seal with her monogram, which was not common among people who were used to treating women as slaves, excluding them from any public affairs. A husband's business and his wife's intention, it is said that Bopai was the first to approve of her husband's decision to become Russia's protectorate. They say that building a city near the Or River was her idea. Afterwards, she said about the desire to build a city, and it was always be there. which confirmed this fact. Abulkair Khan chose this place and asked the Russian Empress Anna to build a fortress there in order to protect the Kyrgyz people from their enemies. Perhaps there were two main features. First, the city was built in accordance with a plan, which was unusual. In addition, Neplyev himself developed the plan. Second, Orenburg was the largest city. There were no cities like it, and either before or after the building. Although Orenburg was a city built on Abulkair Khan's initiative, he could not find a place for himself there. Under Neplyev, the relationship between Russia and the Khan deteriorated. At that time, Abulkair Khan's son, Khosh Ahmed, was held as an honorable hostage, and Neplyev did not agree to replace him with another son. Probably the governor thought in this way he would be more obliging. Abulkair even threatened to make war and probably besiege the fortress where his son was kept. About 1,500 horsemen surrounded the fortress and tried to liberate his son. Then Khosh Ahmed was taken to Kazan. It is supposed that Bopai initiated this. Finally, the Empress had to interfere because the Khan appealed to her. However, it did not stop the hostility between Neplyev and Abulkair Khan. Only Bopai managed to handle the relationship between them for a while.
On
one hand, she undoubtedly used her natural diplomatic skills. On the other hand, she used her feminine qualities, and in addition, she was quite an educated and cultured person for that time to be an equal partner in dialogue. She was similar to her husband. She was strong, power-living, charming, and held independent opinions. Probably she was the only Kazakh woman of that time about whom a great amount of documents have remained. The majority of these documents, Bopai is mentioned together with Abulkair Khan. She was mentioned in difficult issues concerning land, water, and nomadic matters in negotiations with the Russian government. She settled controversial issues and wrote documents. The documents signed by her have been preserved in St. Petersburg. She often was present at government decision-making, supporting her husband. Often her opinions and wise, eloquent speeches made a leading part and changed the situation. She had remarkable public speaking skills. She could make a speech at political meetings, although according to tradition, women did not always have the right to speak there. Bopai was present at all the meetings summoned by the Khan and spoke after Abulkair Khan made his speeches. Nobody could say anything against her words. Everyone agreed that all she said was true. There was not only governmental correspondence. For example, when Bopai wrote to Neplyev, her writing style was lively and easy. It was not a problem for her to ask him for a personal favor, and the governor could never refuse her requests. Bopai had a special personal relationship with Neplyev. If Abulkair Khan spoke harshly to him, Bopai, as a woman, talked to Neplyev in a wise manner, considering herself equal to him. She asked her to send some cosmetic products and wrote that she wanted to look very young as usual. Probably she wanted to soften the sharp words of her powerful husband. First of all, Bopai was a beautiful woman. This is how English traveller John Cassel, who visited Abulkair Khan's throne in 1736, saw her. It is the only portrait of Bopai done during her lifetime. She is very attractive. However, Cassel depicted her more beautiful to a certain extent because that time she was in her late 50s. Nevertheless, I don't think that he greatly exaggerated her beauty. According to the remaining data, the Khan's wife liked beautiful clothes, jewelry, and was fond of entertainment too. Abulkair Khan said he was going to take his wife and his young daughter-in-law to Orsk so that he could listen to Russian music. Tivkilov said that when Abulkair Khan and his wife arrived, besides listening to Russian music, he could also show them fire entertainment they had never seen before. Sometimes Bopai could disagree with her husband, even in public. But in spite of this, they still managed not to lose the Khan's dignity. Were always together and apparently were happy. She gave birth to her last daughter 2 years before Abulkair Khan's death. It was approximately in 1745. Can you imagine she became mother at the age of about 60? Before that, she gave birth to about 5 sons and 2 or 3 daughters. On August the 1st, the happy life of Bopai was ruined. Chapter 3: The Steppe Vendetta. Most of all, I asked to let me appeal to Her Majesty to seek vengeance on Abulkair Khan's killer. Although our people promised to take revenge, but I do not rely on them. The murder of her beloved husband by his enemy Sultan Barak was one of the saddest pages of Bopai's biography. Nepliuev skillfully furthered their hostility, which lasted for a long time. The Khan himself had a formidable and explosive character. Their interest was lost, and Abulkair Khan and his people were afraid of the Russian state. It was not that he rebelled all this time, but he was conflicted and disobeyed in different ways. In spite of diplomatic effort by Bopai, it finally led to tragedy. Nevertheless, she was a strong woman. It was necessary to shape the Khan's future for her son. There was not a law on succession to the throne in the Kazakh Khanate. Rulers were selected. Bopai tried her best to make Nur Ali the Khan. She wrote a letter to the Russian Empress to strengthen her son's power. Although the people chose my son as their Khan, I humbly beg you to command my son to be the main and real Khan instead of his father Abulkair, and award him with a gold seal and official document. Empress Elizabeth granted Abulkair's widow's request, and Russia recognized Nur Ali as a Khan. After that, she only had to take her revenge. First, she asked Nepliuev to provide her with troops to pursue Sultan Barak. The governor told her that he did not know where Barak lived. One person was like a wind going wherever he wanted. So it was indecent for troops to pursue one person who was like a wind. Then Bopai chose a different way. Barak Sultan was afraid and moved to Jungars area together with his people. Thus, she involved the Jungars and undertook to marry off her stepdaughter to the Jungars leader. There is a version saying that she demanded Barak's life in exchange. As a result, sometime later, the murderer and people surrounding him suddenly died after a dinner from poisoning. Epilogue: master of her own destiny. After her husband's death, Bopai did not disappear from the political arena. She taught her sons skillfully and helped them to rule the country. Although her name appeared in documents more and more rarely, her involvement was noticeable in different actions of Abulkair's heirs. Bopai managed to take care of her son's future. Even after Abulkair Khan's death, her children obeyed her will. Probably she was the main heroine in the Kazakh history, even if we were to compare her with the female characters who appeared later. Bopai died with honor, being surrounded by her children in 1780 when she was about 100 years old. Her name and bright image went down in the history of Kazakhstan.